Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com, and in this tutorial we're going to look at wildcards in SQL queries in JSTL, and we're also going to look at just getting one row from a SQL query. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that if I click on an image in this home page here, we go through to a page that displays a larger version of that image. So I added some code to my controller, just so it's the same kind of stuff that we've seen before, that just forwards to a page depending upon a parameter which I've called action. And I've used actually a Java map here to simplify things. And if you want more information on Java collections in general, there's a bunch of free tutorials on www.caveofprogramming.com. But this is standard Java stuff. And I've got this, I've arranged it so that when I click on an image in my home page, let's just run this site, it forwards to a file I've created called image.jsp, which is blank at the moment, and I'm going to fix up that page now. So let's just quit some of these unnecessary pages. So I'm going to go to home.jsp, which already does a query and displays images, and copy that and paste it into image.jsp, because that'll give me a good starting point. And let's just go down through this and modify it. So I'm going to set the title in my header using this parameter that I set up in an earlier tutorial. I'm going to set the title to view image here, picture squirrel view image, and here I'm setting the JDBC source and the SQL query. I'm going to change, I'm going to get rid of the ordering, and I'm going to say select star from images where ID equals question mark. And question mark here is a wildcard, exactly the same as the JDBC wildcards that we saw in an earlier tutorial, except that in JSTL there's a slightly different way of supplying the parameters to fit your wildcards. So here I've got a kind of self-closing SQL query tag, and I'm going to undo that and get rid of the closing bit and actually put a closing tag in with control space to use autocomplete there. So I've got an open and close SQL query tag, and in the middle here I can supply as many SQL parameter tags as I need to populate all my wildcards, and I've just got one wildcard here, so I'll just use one. And for example, if I put 8 in here, it will say where ID equals 8 in the resulting query. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use expression language to access the parameters, and I'm going to use the parameter that I've passed in from my home page, which is called image, and that contains the ID of the image in my database that I want to display. And just to reiterate, although I've mentioned it before, it's really important never to literally concatenate values by any means into your SQL, because that will open you to SQL injection attacks where people type malicious SQL into your parameters. And a major site went down just last week through a SQL injection attack, so they're still happening, even though most of them can be prevented just by using wildcards in SQL queries. Now I'm going to get rid of all the stuff relating to tables and relating to iterating through my rows, and I'll leave this stuff where we set the image name by taking a single row which I've set to the value image, and we create the image name from that, and then later on I'll get rid of this table stuff, but later on we display the image using that. So let's get rid of that, and I'll get rid of all this stuff down here, just doing Control D to delete those lines. And now the only remaining thing that I have to do here is to fix it so that one row from this query is put into a variable called image, and then I can access the columns from that row using the normal methods we've already seen. So to do that, I'll have another cset tag here. I'll just copy this one and use this one, and I'm going to set the variable name to image, because that's what's used here later on, and the value of it I want to set to one row from my query, the first row, And so I'm going to use expression language, and I'm going to use this results variable that contains all my results, and there should only be one result, but it will be in a form of some kind of list. So it's a list with one result in it, one row, and I'm going to say results.rows. And now in JSTL, accessing one value, or whichever value you like from a list, is just the same as accessing values from an array in Java, or accessing the values of keys in maps in JSTL, which is that you use square brackets like these. So let's just paste these in here. And I didn't type them directly because this one conflicts with a shortcut on my keyboard, unfortunately. And I'm just going to put the index in there. I'm going to put index 0 to get the first and hopefully only item from that list. And now if I've got this all right, I should now be able to run my site and go to click on an image and go to it, and this will display the image. I'll get rid of the image width as well because I want it to display at its normal size. And I always find it's really tricky to get this right first time, and I usually have to look at the traceback and look for the line numbers where the error occurred and go to the error and double check and fix it, but we might be lucky here. So let's click on an image here, and there we go, we are lucky, and I've got a cat. So I can now click on images here, and I can see the resulting image in a large form, normal size form. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial, and until next time, happy coding.